Bring me my bounty hunters. Boba Fett.
Ready.
Bosk. Beef. Boss.
Oh, just point me at him.
Good. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh review. Today we're taking a look at the Hasbro... nope, not Hasbro. The Bandai SH Figuarts Star Wars Return of the Jedi Emperor's Throne set. And yup, I paid the crazy shipping from Nippon Yasan to actually get this in hand. MS has shut down shipping to the US from overseas, and I just thought, man, I've already paid $200 some odd for this. I want it now. But also during that time, I saw some pictures that may have soured me a little bit on this set, and I usually don't do that. I like going in fresh. I like not knowing, but I couldn't help myself. I don't know. This is going to be an interesting review overall, I think. Looking at the package, it's bigger than your standard SH Figuarts because it comes with one character and his chair and a couple of other characters and an actual whole other body that's hidden in there somewhere. So we don't actually see everything this comes with, but at the same time, this was a Soul Web exclusive. It's not on shelves. They're not trying to sell it to regular customers. On the side, a promotional shot of Palpatine with the 2 royal guards. On the back, more promotional shots showing the chair, showing the lightning, showing the heads, showing 2 different poses. On the other side, the Star Wars, and we get the original trilogy silver this time around. There's your unpiratable hologram. On the top, that same thing. On the bottom, oh, I didn't expect another promotional shot on bottom, but there's the Emperor with Vader, the guards. Over here's your warnings and your legalese and your logos and your UPC, and there's your winning lottery number. But let's get this big honking thing open and see what's going on here. Oh, well, look at that. On the back tray, the other body's just kind of blistered in there. You can't even see it when you pull it apart. Oh, damn it. Interesting. And getting it all out of the package, it's hard to pick where to start, but since this was the focal point in the package, let's take a look at the Emperor in the throne. And just like this, it looks fantastic because all the robes are draping in all the right places. The plastic sleeves split and fall over both sides of the armrests. The legs are actually touching the ground, which when we get to comparisons, that'll make more sense. But just the way he's sitting, it feels and looks natural. And everything from the outer robes with its texture, the wrinkles on the inner robe, the belt with the sash, oh well, you can make that lay down a little bit better. And even the hood, after messing around with it a bit, yeah, okay, I am completely happy with this. But he doesn't actually reach the back of the chair. There's a big old gap in there. And I've messed around with it. There's some waist articulation, the head, and it just does not want to go back there. So from the front, yeah, great. From the side, which, okay, admittedly, I will never see this in the display, but it looks like he's just kind of leaning forward. But like I mentioned, there is some articulation to the figure itself, or, well, half statue, half figure. In order for the legs to look right when it's sitting, they had to sculpt it all in one place. Well, they didn't have to. There could have been cloth, but they didn't want to go that way, I guess. There is a dumbbell joint at the waist with a big old gap that you can get some shift forward and back, and you get lots of leg movement up and down. Look at that. It's a go-kart. But because of the shape of the throne, you don't really get to utilize any of that. One, you're not going to have him standing off to the side like this. Oh, I thought for a second it was going to stay up. There you go. But to get him in the throne, you have to kind of shift back, give him some leg room, and then still push his head under the top here. So the back of the knees hit the throne, can't go back any further than that. And I thought, well, he can lean back more, but then the hood gets in the way right here. It's touching. Also, you'll notice the hood likes to bounce up, give it a fishbowl kind of look, float above the head, which is one of my pet peeves when it comes to robed figures. But again, because of the throne, I'm going to keep bringing this. When you push it in here, the top of the hood is touching the top of the chair, and when you push it, it pushes the hood down. So I don't know if that was purposely done, if that was forethought. It was like, okay, here's how we're going to do it. Whenever you push it in, the hood's going to go down, and it's going to look great. But this is another thing I'm going to gripe about in a minute, and we'll get to that. You have to constantly mess with the tab that holds the hood in. But then there's arm articulation. There's full-on butterfly at the shoulder that hinges up, rotates around. There's a swivel at the bicep, but it's hard to manipulate because of the butterfly. Hinge at the shoulder that also rotates. And then there's your standard Figuarts wrist that you can go up and down and move around. But the way the sleeves are sculpted, you're never going to have him with his arm up because it just looks weird. The only natural spot is down on the armrest. But then besides that, well, okay, there's also articulation at the top of the neck. So again, once it's in position, usually just leave it like it is and shove it in the throne. That's the whole point of this figure, at least this part of the set. This is made for shoving into the throne and leaving it there. But after some messing around, it does look good. I mean, I can't deny that. It looks great sitting there. But if you don't want him sitting, if you want him walking through the Death Star or something, it comes with a whole alternate body. What you have to do there is remove the hood and the head, or use one of the alternate heads, and then that pops onto this body. For the hood, there is a tab right there on the front, and I have to get a little tool and push it down in there. It's back, and then down into the peg hole. I was afraid of the same thing I was just talking about with the fishbowl effect, it floating above the head, but this is not bad at all, as long as you have that tab down in there. And as soon as you move anything, it likes to work its way out. So yeah, not bad at all. That is definitely Palpatine. Same nice texture to the robes, which I keep talking about the clothes, and it's essentially, hey, here's some billowing robes. But they absolutely nailed the texture of the fabric there, and then on the inside it's smoother. And see, there you go. All I did was this, boop, pops out. But there's also full-on legs up under there. Again, it's fairly plain. You just see black pants and not a lot of, well, actually, there's shoes down there. But the outer robe does traffic cone the whole thing a bit, even though they left these segmented so you can get some leg movement down here. Because of this, pretty much locks everything into position. There is a dumbbell joint at the top of the neck. Ball joint down at the bottom too. You can see the point of the throat kind of moving around down in there. So can look up, can look down. Oh, so much tilt. Swivel, again, butterfly joints at the shoulders, a little too smooth. Because when you try to do other stuff, it likes to move around out there. Wait, is that actually, well, it may be a dumbbell joint with a cap, but it does hinge up to there. Swivels around, very tight bicep joint. Single elbow comes up to there, and again, plastic robes, you're gonna get the wing effect. Standard Figuarts wrist, you can up and down, you can swivel around, you can move it to where it goes side to side. The waist is actually very nice around the robes. He can crunch better than a lot of the other figures, but then you have speed effect. I'll get you, my pretties! Get this front robe out of the way. There is a drop down hip, and that allows the leg to come all the way forward, but back into the traffic cone. It just... Same thing for the knee. It goes past 90. And then at the ankle, in the shroud of darkness because of all this crap hanging off of it, it seems to be maybe a dumbbell joint back there. It goes back that far forward. Some nice rocker. And then a toe joint goes up to there. For accessories, there are 3 heads. In the package on the seated figure, there's this one. It's kind of calm. He's contemplating. And I think I may like this one the best, even though we haven't looked at the rest of them. There's a nice modeling to the skin. You can see some bluish vein look to it, but it especially accentuates the Sith eyes. That redness, that orangeness inside the smoky darkness of his outer eye. Yeah, I just love that effect. You want this, don't you? But then there is a happier Sheev. Pretty much the same as the first one, but he's got a slight smile to it, and it's still evil. There is no way you can make this guy nice. Forgot to mention the hair on the first one. It's just a plain white. It's got some sculpted detail, but not a lot of shading to bring out that detail. But again, you're going to see this under a hood most of the time. And then finally, there's the gritted teeth. Evil, still. Again, a nice sculpt, same effect to the eyes. For some reason, well, here, with the lights, how I have them, it's throwing a lot of shadow onto the teeth, and you can see all the detail there. Unlimited! And then for hands in the package, in the seated position, it comes with these 2 hands, which will probably permanently be on this body because they're just meant for resting on the armrest. But the regular body came with 2 fists, and those should just pop off. I'm always scared of Figuarts a bit. But these don't seem Darth Maul tight. There's 2 creepy gesturing hands, and at first I thought, oh, this is just relaxed, but man, the fingers get kind of crooked and crackly right there. You don't even see his head and you know this guy's just pure, unlimited evil. Then there's also these electric hands. They're just splayed out. It has this clear, translucent plastic electricity coming off of them. It may have a slight tinge of pink to it, but it does its job. It looks good. Also, trying to get this on here, I realized you can pop this out too. So if you want a seated Emperor with his arm up, you can do that, and it looks like it's hanging down. I don't know if it's meant to be swapped like that, but it's easy enough just to pop out. In fact, that's easier than actually changing out the hands on this. And then finally, for hands, there is this right hand that looks gnarled up. That's actually to hold his gnarled up cane. Right there, there's a peg, and then there's actually a peg hole on the inside of the palm. Out of the way, index finger. stretch that out. You force that in before it closes back out. And oh yeah, once you get into position, it's not going anywhere. And unlike the Hasbro version, this actually reaches the ground. In fact, I don't even have the arm stretched all the way down, and it's kind of in a resting position. I feel like he should be a little more hunched though, but every time I go for a hunch, psh, the robe sticks out. But that is definitely not bad at all. And yeah, I'm gonna call the throne an accessory, and this is a fairly nice sculpt. The silver or metal look to the whole thing kind of throws me off because the Hasbro version is black, and then most pictures I've seen seem to be black, but maybe Bandai knows something I don't know. Some fantastic colors punched in here though, with the pinks and the yellows and the reds. Same thing on the other side right there, and there's kind of a metallic light sheen to it. Same thing on the inside here, it's got a gold button with a couple of reds. That's probably, what, coffee and candy bars. And then over here he calls the psychic hotline or something. On the cushion part of it, it's a nice regal purple. And then up at the top you have some black and this little knob that is on all of the thrones I've ever seen. I'd be careful with that right there. The base has some sculpt to it up under there. You can see some ridges, but that does not rotate. Oh, does it? Oh, yep. It does turn. Does it come off? Oh, wait. Yep. Yep. That one's round and that has flat edges. So maybe it's not supposed to turn, but in the long run, you just turn the damn thing. It doesn't really matter. I'm also calling these guys accessories because they don't really do anything. Much like they do in the movies. Perfectly accurate. You have a shinier red to the helmet. I feel like this could be more dull to give it a cloth look, but there is a different color for the arm, and it comes around to the back. You see the robes hanging down, nice wrinkles. Good helmet sculpt. This is nice and defined. This, well, it's not a strap, it's just helmet detail. Oh, sorry, buddy. On the bottom, there are some feet, so you can see them kind of sticking out from under the robe, but they don't do anything. It's a solid piece all the way around. I talk about traffic cone a lot, but these are literal traffic cones. Is there even a swivel or anything to the arm? Nope. They do come with their, I think these are called force pikes. It's fairly basic. It looks like they're trying to get FM radio or something. It looks like it's supposed to, really. And at first I was trying to shove it into their hand from this direction, but what you do, come from the bottom and push up until they're holding it. And this looks fantastic. And I love that we get two of them. They can flank the Emperor. They can just do exactly what they did in the movie. Hey, stand there, look regal. But whose bright idea was this? Okay, I get it. They're extras. They're cones. They have no articulation. They're just molded pieces of action figure plastic. I can't even call them action figure. They're just figures. But why make them 5 3/4 inches tall? In the pictures, they were always like this in the background. So you never got a sense of how big they actually were. They just look like they're further back. And maybe that's the whole point of this. Maybe Bandai thought, oh, most shelves aren't that deep. And if we put them back here, it gives it a sense of depth. Even right here, that's touching the Emperor. But looking at it through the camera, they look like they're further back than they are. So maybe that was Bandai's intent, but you get it to here and it's like, hey. I mean, here they are with the Hasbro Black Series Royal Guard, and I'm looking at it and my brain's going, oh, they're behind this, but they're not. They are lined straight up. I'm about to blow the illusion for you. If you look down from it at the top, yeah, see? Just right beside each other. And they are definitely smaller than the knockoff Kotobukiya Royal Guard that I got a long, long time ago. So essentially you have, salt and pepper shakers here. From now on, you are salt and you are unlimited pepper. For comparison, here is the standing Emperor next to the Bandai SH Figuarts Return of the Jedi Luke and Vader. And that looks good. It works. It's essentially the same height as the Hasbro Emperor. Now, this is the original release, but because of the plastic robes and stuff, I ripped all that off, put custom robes on it. But now that I have them side by side, the head is quite a bit smaller on the Hasbro. That's interesting. Same body, bigger head. The Figuarts proportions are better. Comparing the SH Figuarts and the Hasbro Throne side by side, I didn't expect the Bandai one to be bigger. It's slightly taller, but it's definitely wider. Let's see if we can, yeah, definitely wider. The cushions are more defined than the Hasbro. I like the purple. I love the purple they used here. It has the same detail beats on both, but the Bandai is just sharper. Overall, same concept. So, I mean, it's one or the other. The silver is still throwing me off, but I'm liking it more and more. And then putting the two emperors in their thrones, I feel like the Bandai wins here. The Hasbro came with a cloth robe. You can stand him up, you can sit him down, you can do whatever, but it is a bit hard to manipulate to make look right when he's sitting. And he's still not touching the ground completely. The Bandai is sculpted for this specific purpose, so of course it's going to look better. Okay, I'm laying it out, getting to my final thoughts, and it's something I wanted to touch on before getting to that part. This set is $200 plus, and then shipping. Bandai couldn't include another hood, so you could just go ahead and have 2 full figures. In fact, you have this other head, and you have the electric hands. The hood is the only thing keeping this from being a 4-figure set. What kind of happy horse shit is that? As is, you have to swap between the two, or go find an alternate method, or I may do some experimenting with the standing up one. So at the end of the day, this is my favorite part of the set. The Emperor sitting in the throne. That just nails the look overall. I can have this on my shelf. It looks fantastic. And it totally works in with my other mixed display with Hasbro Black Series, Mafex, etc. When it comes to the other body, I may try to take off the arms, or well, no, you can take off the bottom of the arms and take off the robe, maybe some other stuff in there. Try some cloth alternatives, and that's what this set comes down to. If you like the Hasbro set, yeah, go for it, because you can have the Emperor standing, Emperor sitting. But if you don't like soft goods, you prefer plastic, this is the way to go. Is it worth $200 with Bandai's kind of poking the bear by only giving us 1 hood and then the undersized Royal Guards? No. No, it's not. Whenever I try to list out the prices, okay, there's 2 Royal Guards, there's a whole other Emperor, there's the throne, there's effects. $200 seems okay. And looking at the promotional images where they didn't quite tell you what you got, just that, oh, here's an Emperor in this position, and the Royal Guards were always in the background, I feel like there was, okay, not a bait and switch, but a slight false advertising to this set. So when I think of it like that, no, $200, no. When it comes down to it, this is going in my display. This is essentially all I'm using as of this moment right here. And this ain't $200. Unfortunately, the Hasbro version isn't on Amazon anymore. The first version of Emperor without the throne is $59 on Amazon. And on eBay, the set is $90 and up. So if you absolutely cannot live without an Emperor on the shelf, it's going to be costly at this point. Couldn't throw in another hood. That's just silly. But if you enjoyed the review, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus if you're interested in seeing videos early or just in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll catch you on the Fwoosh. Or maybe a prequel robe for this, since you get the full hair up here, hunt down a Palpatine lightsaber and stuff. That may be an idea.